Welcome to Hospitality 360 with myself, episode number 20, whatever it is. No, I'm just kidding, 27. So, obviously, you see not a familiar face here. So, that's Katie Steinberg from Market Scale. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Oh, we're excited to have you here. And we see the beautiful picture behind you. Looks like Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
Being a Giants fan, I hate you and I hate the city. So I just want to tell everybody in Dallas I love them.
Good to be here, Ken.
Well, I love you, Dallas. I love you. Dak Prescott's on my LinkedIn. He said hello in a private message today. I said I love you, Dak, but not really. Okay. So we've got welcome, Katie.
Thank
We've
you
got
so
Brian.
much.
You're welcome. We've got Brian J Esposito. He is live from the safari country itself. And Brian, welcome to the show. It looks like it's very dark wherever you are.
It's a little dark. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate you having me again.
Thank you. And then we got Stephynie Malik from S. Malik Enterprises. Welcome, Stephynie.
Thank you, Ken. Welcome.
And then we got Calvin Stovall, president of EV Hotel. And I know Brian's our chief strategy officer and Stephanie's our board member with EV as well. Welcome, Kevin.
Happy to be here.
All right, well, let's get started. Yes, the 3 for EV. So let's get started. And obviously we're getting very close to Thanksgiving here. Just to let everybody know, we're going to be doing a special Thanksgiving show. It's going to be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving at 12 noon. Our first Wednesday ever that we're going to be doing the show, and we're going to definitely do something special. So stay tuned for that. So 2022 is upon us. I would probably have to say this year has been one of a kind. Definitely one of a kind. And, I've had the privilege to work with people like Brian, Calvin, obviously Stephynie, a very dear, good friend of mine. And just like everybody else is here. And just the launch of EV, what we've been doing in the industry and what we're planning to do even in 2022. So I'm very excited, and I told everybody we had breaking news. So I'm very excited to announce here on our show that EV is coming to California. And we are just beyond excited. And I have to thank, Brian for making it happen.
It's a team effort, Ken. Come on, man. It's everybody.
As everybody, if people saw my post today on LinkedIn, I don't look at myself as a CEO. I don't look at myself as a founder or a chairman. The only title that I follow is team. That's it. And, that's what EV is about. And, we're going to keep pushing. We've got more things coming, and I'm obviously the international projects. The other breaking news that we have is as of today, we are going to be coming to India. We have 6 hotels in the pipeline, with the first one starting in the state of Gujarat. It's called Ahmedabad, and that is actually where my family and I are from. So it's just amazing to even know that that's happening. It's like a dream come true for me, at least. So, and we've got 5 other properties that are going to be starting in a span of 2 years of construction there in India. So it's a very big day to EV, and it's a very big day for me to thank all the people inside of EV for even making this happen. So congratulations to all our team members, to our board members. Brian especially for being part of EV, Calvin as well for playing those big roles of EV. So thank you guys.
Congrats, everyone.
Yeah. And Katie too. Katie, you're part of EV as well.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Make everybody part of EV.
And you get an EV hotel. And
You get. we'll send you an EV candy bar. It's coming out, you know. So I want to start with, obviously, you know, we always start the show with the mindsets. And, you know, I would probably tell you that this has always been on my mind. I'm going to go to Brian first. So the question here is, what kind of skills do you need in order to succeed in life?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. I will say the skills throughout my journey, they change and they alter depending on the situation, but you definitely need patience and you need to learn how to control your emotions. I often talk about, even on Stephanie's show, like old me thought it was great to show those emotions, let people know that they got to me, and I would even flip a table. And I say that, you know, looking back, that's embarrassing. That's not how I want to leave my mark. And you should always respond to any decision or any reaction from a place of calmness and a place of peace. You know, you need to make those decisions in a rational mindset. And if it means stepping away from the situation, if it means taking a few minutes and just breathing and coming down and looking at, does it even require my time, or does it even require my resources? Or was that just a silly situation that didn't even need any type of acknowledgement? So definitely patience, calmness, and learning how to control your emotions. Then you can make great, smart decisions, and you can make wise decisions. So that would be my current answer to that. It may change tomorrow, but right now, that's my answer.
Thank you, Brian. Stephynie?
I think connection, and like Brian said, one of the biggest things really is understanding your emotions and how to make sure to connect with people. But I think also too, in understanding that every emotion doesn't require a response. It's just an emotion. It's just like could pass. You know, stepping away is great. I never ever make decisions, especially that will affect other people's lives. Just even if I do know and it's innate and I have a great gut feeling of what it is, I still owe that person, that business relationship, that brand, I still owe them taking a minute and stepping back. Not that I don't know or understand what the answer is, but I want to honor them in everything that I say or that I do. And I think having empathy and humility, being able to raise your hand and say, gosh, I don't know. Can you explain it to me? Or can we take a step back and can you explain it another way? I think those are those skills, as Brian said, right now, I think they all change as we evolve.
Absolutely. Katie?
I mean, to piggyback off of Stephynie, an old manager once told me, you know, the only two things that you control are attitude and effort. And just realizing that there's only so many things that you can control yourself, and accepting that, but just giving it your all and always just coming in with a positive outlook and a positive mindset, trying to make the best out of every situation, because so many crazy things are thrown at you every single day, but only really what you can control. And then just trying to be as positive as you can throughout that.
Thank you, Katie. Calvin?
Life. Wow. That's a big question, man. I would just say, man, don't ever think you're stuck. You don't have to stay in a situation that you don't want to be in. Don't let your environment define where you're trying to go. I mean, I grew up in one of the most notorious housing projects in Chicago. And, you know, fortunately I had, you know, parents that helped, you know, do some things to get me out of it. But don't ever think you can't get out of a situation. Don't ever think you're held captive, man. It might take some, my mama used to call it moxie. Get some moxie about yourself, you know? And she always would tell me that, man. She, you know, if I cried in my, you know, soup, she'd be like, get some moxie about yourself, boy. Get out there and do your thing. So, you know, I just want to say, man, sometimes it's going to be some hard work or whatever, but don't ever think you're stuck. You're never stuck.
Yeah, no, well said. Well said. I mean, for me, it's drive, it's motivation. Mm-hmm. It's just being kind, you know, be kind to people. I think you can't do anything better than that. And, you know, build good people around you. You know, I think the skills will come. Skills, everyone has a different sort of skills, just like the movie Taken. So, you know, and
So be kind and follow the movie Taken.
yeah. Just
Check.
don't do what he did. Just don't do what he did. So,
he's
you know,
baby.
I would say that, you know, it's for me especially. I mean, I had just recently, I had I think he's 15-year-old kid reach out to me on LinkedIn, and he said he wanted me to be his mentor. He's seeing that I'm doing such a great job with things on LinkedIn, and he wants to follow my footsteps. I'm like, me, you know? So, but, you know, I believe helping people, right? We want to constantly help people. The skills will always come. I think if you have the drive, it don't ever forget who you are and where you came from. And that's one thing I always tell people is just never forget where you came from. Wherever you reach, whatever plateau you're on, just never forget where you came from. So, all right, well, all this sad stuff. I mean, let's get out of this sadness.
That was supposed to be inspiring, man.
Yeah. We're very inspiring. It just the mellowness. It was so mellow. Like, oh, okay.
It was deep.
Should we start talking about 7-Eleven, QT, or bananas? That kind of shook
oh
things
boy.
up.
That was a good time. Katie, that was a good time. You
Gosh,
missed that
Katie, you missed it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was hugely inspiring.
Sorry.
It was very inspiring to know that 7-Eleven has the best bananas ever. You know,
right, Joe the bananas. What he's doing.
Katie,
I
we'll
would've
go
never
offline and
guessed.
have that private girl conversation, okay?
Yeah. You'll hear about how a guy at a gas station ended up signing on to Robinhood's app and buying some Shiba coin. So, you know, but
Oh God.
all right, well, let me take you guys to New York City. You know, I call it my home. Right now, it's not what it seems. If you guys don't know about the hotel industry, and before I even go into this, I kind of want, you know, and this is something where on the industry itself, I look at and I'm like, first of all, we have the CEOs of the industry predicting record numbers for 2022. I don't know where they're getting this data at all, because this article and this itself, this was just an event that was conducted by NYU, and all the hospitality leaders and everybody just showed up there, I think a week ago, this event was. And then this article just came out from the New York Post in regards to what the industry of hospitality looks like for New York. They're stating right now, I mean, it's a wrecking ball. I mean, the Roosevelt Hotel, more than 30 hotels are due not to open. No tourism for the last 20 months. This Wednesday, when the article I think the article just came out yesterday or a few days ago. And that Wednesday, the occupancy was 63%. That same period in 2019 was in the low 90s. Large hotels are not opening because demand is not there. Hotelier that owns a bunch of these hotels in New York City is even predicting it's not even going to come back in 2023. You know, so I'm like, what are these CEOs looking at that I'm not looking at? You know, what are they? Are they drinking some great fine red wine or something? I mean, what are they looking at? I mean, you got the top CEOs, and even Katie, where you are in Texas, you've got Dean Sloan, CEO of Remington Hotels. He's saying they've had the best ADR since whatever their existence is. And, you know, they said they had the best ADR on the Star Report of October 23rd, right? Now, people are looking at that statement saying we need to raise our rates. And I say, do not raise your rates. You're looking at a short-term gain instead of the long-term vision. So, I mean, these sort of things are happening, but when I look at New York City, I mean, we should be looking at what New York City is for the industry overall. And I mean, I'll go to you, Brian. What did you think about this?
A couple of things. So things to think about is you have the Javits Center, which is a massive conference hall that books many shows throughout the year. I think it's 100 and something, 200 shows a year. It's a tenth of that for what's going to be coming online. So there's a lot of people not coming into the city for whatever industry that they're in to go to those conferences, go to those meetings. Therefore, there's no need for a room. I look at it I always look at things like the job side as well. It will be nice to have better service levels in the hotels that are still have the budgets to maintain being open. So I'm hoping those people will go and find jobs at other hotel flags so you can continue to service the guests that are in those buildings. And then if you start taking rooms off of the supply, like those hotels in that article that are going to be closed or closing, that means that those CEOs will see higher numbers because they're going to be booking rooms into the hotels that are available. So that's how I was reading the article, as far as, the hotels that are there are going to do very well because they're going to be getting the traffic they wouldn't have gotten because guests would have stayed at other hotels.
So are you telling me, Brian, that you're sticking up for the CEOs?
I mean, it depends what CEO you're talking about. So, I mean, if a competing hotel is closed, those people have to go somewhere. And if they're able to hire more people, they can open up the entire hotel and open up all the rooms that are available. I mean, a lot of the rooms aren't available to be open because they don't have enough staff to be able to service the facility.
Mm-hmm.
Are you telling me, Brian, that
I hate the CEOs. They're wrong. They're all wrong.
Well, I was actually gonna say that. Are you telling me they're not saying this because they want more hotels in the pipeline?
Sure, their stocks are doing well. They're bankable. Yeah, absolutely. But you can't mislead people, especially for public hotels that have a stock in the market. You can't say things that are misleading or forward looking that aren't true. So the ones that do operate in the public markets, they what they're saying they believe to be true.
Well, I hope it's true. You know what I mean? I just hope that it's true what they're saying 2022, but I've said it since March of this year that nothing is going to come back like 2019 numbers till 2023 second Q. And I'm still holding to that date, holding to that data. I mean, the biggest struggle this industry's had is with the urban markets, and that's going to be the struggle. It's going to keep happening.
Ken, let me ask you, those numbers, is it top line or is it profit?
Top line. Okay. So, I think when we look at the top line numbers, when we look at the occupancy and RevPAR, we're not going to see that. And even the ADR, I mean, when we looked at 2019 numbers, the industry was on a 7 straight years on an incline of ADR and occupancy. I mean, it was just ridiculous. But, I think what's going to happen here is that the guests are moving away from the hotel sector to places like Airbnb and Sonder too,
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to bring them back because there's something called, I forgot the name. Hold on. EV Hotel. There you go. So Stephynie.
So I think the thing for me is that I find it very interesting. I learned so much when I was in New York City for the last week and a half. When I was there, the hotels that are kind of hotel favorites, or the rooms that you select because you're traveling on business that maybe have, a fax machine is antiquated, not maybe a fax machine, but just the services, the business service center. So many of the business service centers aren't open. There was an error when I checked in and they said, we'll run it up to you. I had documents that were getting printed for a podcast and I'd never got the documents. And so when I called, she said, we'll run them right up to you. And I said, okay, that sounds great. We never got the documents. And so I'm wondering how they're going to service people and how they're going to keep people coming back, the loyalty. I wonder how they're going to keep people coming back to their brand. The other thing is after, and these the first hotel was a 5-star hotel. The second hotel was an upper end Marriott or Hilton. I can't remember which one. They were just having trouble with every service aspect. So the gym they said the gym was not operating because there was something wrong with the water line. One of the guys said there's nothing wrong with the water line. There's no staff. The other thing that I learned there is that from anything from a manager level down, we're all union employees, and they were requiring vaccinations for all the union employees. So they were getting ready to lose another 27%. So whatever the rates are, how do you service the people that are actually in it? And how do you make the decision on what floors to close? Because I was in a 12-story hotel and the top 6 floors were closed because they had no occupancy. So it's a bigger problem across every board. I don't know what numbers they're looking at. I have no idea. Clearly, they don't state what numbers they're looking at. Clearly, they don't state the data and where they're getting these statistics from, which is concerning. But I think overall concerning is the guest and user experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have to agree with you. I mean, what you just said kind of just gives me all sorts of flashbacks on when you make a request and you're like, oh, okay. They're like, we'll bring it up to you, and it never gets there. And I'm like, what is the holdup? Like, why is it not coming? Yeah. Like, what is going on? Like, it's so easy. I'm like, I just asked for toilet paper.
Right. I mean, Ken, to your point, I'm not even talking like normal things that we're used to, like just normal things. Like you get something in an hour. I'm saying, hey, we're getting ready to go out to dinner, or hey, we're getting ready to go out to lunch. We have to run a few hours. I'm talking like 9:00 in the morning to not coming back till 2:00 and having a 3:30 podcast and your room not being serviced during that time, even though you asked for that. Or a document where you say, hey, can you print this? I have a 10 a.m. podcast, and it not coming overnight. I'm talking like not an hour thing, because you and I are very much like, we called for that 26 seconds ago. How come it's not here yet? I'm talking like hours. It's not there.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy to me. It's just insane. I mean, being in this industry, this is my 25th year. I've never seen this much chaos. I mean, this is just chaotic, and I don't think it's unneeded chaotic. You know what I mean? It's just shouldn't happen. But Calvin?
Well, I'm going to tend to lean to what you just said with the demand. I don't see it coming back to 23, 24. And I'm just saying that because business travel just isn't back to that level yet. I think companies are still trying to figure out how to make all of that work. That you do still have a percentage of the population concerned around the COVID thing, pandemic stuff. I mean, I was supposed to speak, at a conference, and it, get canceled for whatever reason, but this stuff is still going on. It's just not as prevalent as it was before. But I just don't think until business travel comes back robust like that, it's going to be a while. And I don't see that happening for a couple of years.
I know. I agree with that. I mean, it's one of those things that we have focused in this industry so much on that business traveler. Mm-hmm. Now it's coming to bite the industry, and this is what's going to happen. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you could talk about pent up leisure demand that's going to be there, whether it's this travel, that's travel. I mean, you still need that other sector. So,
yeah, you do. I mean, you think about those conferences, Ken, all those large conferences that the associations used to have and all of that stuff. I mean, those were like hundreds of thousands of hotel rooms that are just, they're not there anymore.
I know, just like as Brian was talking about at Jacob Javits Center, in that same article, they stated that even though the conventions have restarted, they haven't seen the crowds. Right. So that kind of tells you even a bigger story there. Katie?
I think to say that travel and hospitality as a whole is coming back as 2022, as 2019 is very wishful thinking. I think a lot of people have, been in their houses for so long and want to be doing that, but I don't necessarily think it will be back to where it was before by any means. And what Stephynie was saying before, where there's so many people doing Airbnbs, I think it's because there's so much emphasis on the individual. And if you have an issue with your Airbnb or you need something, you can easily message them right there and they will be responding. as opposed to with a hotel, it's hours, and there's just such a lack of staff and a lack of service. And with Airbnb, you at least know who you rent it from and where you're staying and who you can be getting your service from.
Yeah, well, we got something better than Airbnb, and that's where I'm gonna take you next. So we got something that's exciting.
Way better.
I'm excited.
It's so exciting. It's gonna take over hospitality, take over the world of hospitality, and just I mean to tell you that the excitement that I have with this next article, I don't know if I should jump up right now. Or do what? I don't know. I feel like doing a cheerleader split, but I don't think that's gonna be successful. So
make sure the camera's pointing down so we don't miss that.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that would really take the show to the next level.
I'm talking like 5 stars.
Yeah, I believe that would just be.
We all vote Ken split. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So everybody up for Ken split?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Katie's still up. Katie's like, yes.
Yeah, well,
let's go.
I'm gonna take it to the next article and we'll come back. So, I would. So we got somebody saying a backflip. Okay, there we go. Well, I am really to be honest with you guys, I'm really excited to know that the hospitality media, even people like Katie and Market Scale, and especially hospitality tech, that they're part of HTNG and American Hotel Lodging Association. They even invited me to their event in Phoenix that's coming here on December 14th to the 16th, I believe. So I will be in Phoenix. But this is just exciting news for us at EV and even the world of hospitality. From when we posted this article on LinkedIn, people went crazy over it. So this project has been a tremendous project as to even talking about, what more do we have in the pipeline? We've got the US here, we've got India, we've got Costa Rica, we got the Dominican Republic. We're on target with downtown Phoenix to open it towards the end of 2022. It's going to be the biggest Super Bowl party that any hotel's ever had. So we're excited for that. Brian's getting the guest list ready. Stephanie's getting her guest list ready. Calvin and I are just going to show up.
I'll show up too.
Yeah, and Katie's just going to come with the cameras and her crew and her makeup artist.
I don't know if I'll get a makeup. I hope, fingers crossed.
No, but on a serious note, I mean, if people don't know about our hotel brand, it's the world's first crypto and technology hotel brand, delivering automation along with the centric experiences that include the crypto experience, providing the NFTs within the hotel. And then obviously there's a lot more into it. And just all the tremendous partnerships that we have. Obviously thank you to Brian for bringing a lot of these partnerships into EV. And I think it's just, we've got a great team at EV, a phenomenal team. We've got a phenomenal board, phenomenal executive team. And I think a lot of people around the world tend to love what we're doing just because this portion has not been triggered in this industry. We have not created the centric experiences. The third segment, we just spoke about the 2 segments, the business traveler and the leisure traveler. My vision for this industry how do we get to a third segment? And that now the third segment is a technology traveler. So now we're taking half of the business, half of the leisure traveler, creating that technology traveler. And this is how we are going to move forward in the industry. This is how, when we talk about what are our top line, no longer are we going to focus just on room revenue. We're going to focus whether it's an investor or a hotelier, they're not going to have to be worrying about a lot of these things. But I'll go to you, Brian. I know you probably got a lot to say about EV, so.
I'll try to not bore you with all these great things. So I appreciate you saying, my work in bringing a lot of these partnerships into the EV hotel. I mean, Ken, this was your brand, this was your concept. And if it didn't make sense, nothing that I hold or in partner with wouldn't come over. You know, the value stems from the concept. And what I love to do and what we've done successfully to date is we look at all of my holdings and we say, what can enhance even further the value of this property? What can make the guest experience worth what they're paying for? And what can make the staff culture want to participate in servicing the guests there, be part of the brand, and be part of the vision that we have. So with that being said, we're bringing in, some aren't announced yet, so I'll be careful how I word it. We're bringing in amazing F&B concepts from very large, well-established brands that have large media components, again, to help drive more traffic and awareness to our properties, to help support the value and the economics of those buildings. And with the NFT and what we're doing with companies like Virtual Stacks and Turncoin, I no longer want to see what is the key room, what is the key value for an EV hotel. That shouldn't exist here. What is the ultimate revenues of this hotel? A $300 a night room in a typical Phoenix market, that's cool. There's 10,000 rooms doing that. But this room comes with a crypto trading floor. It comes with exclusive NFTs priced into the room. It comes with experiences attached to those NFTs to your favorite athlete, your favorite entertainer, actress or celebrity or musician, business person. Oh yeah, by the way, it comes with a giant 24/7 Bloomberg CNBC style media component of the crypto trading floors that are going to be instilled in certain EV crypto hotels. So this is going to be hopefully what we set out to do, is the most profitable revenue generating hotel concept to ever hit this market. We've made a lot of statements. I believe them to be very true in what we can do and how we can perform and utilize the cash flow of a hotel to build and replicate another one. Not raise money for a hotel, build a hotel, hope to raise money for another hotel, build a hotel. We need to scale this thing quickly, and we need to utilize our own cash flows and revenues to do that. And that is exactly why I joined what you and Calvin and the rest of the board built. And honored to be here. So thank you again, and we have a lot of great work to do.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. I mean, I tend to say this all the time, is that it's very magical. This is, for me, this is better than going to Disney, and meeting Mickey. When I don't have to meet Mickey, I'm kind of happy about that. So, but I mean, it's a very magical thing. I feel like 3 years of what I've been working on, people think I just started this because of COVID. No. I started this way before COVID. And, I got sick of I had a feeling in my stomach that was just very sick of where I felt like the industry was going. And, I tended to leave a very high paying salary job in New York City that, I kind of have my wife say a thing about that usually sometimes. But, I felt like, what I was doing was the right thing. And I get to meet great people like you, obviously, Brian, Stephynie, Calvin, even Katie. So, all of our great board members as well. So, I mean, I'm not going anywhere with this. This is full throttle for me, and I feel very good about it. I feel great about it, working with everybody on this. So it's a pleasure working with you guys. Stephynie?
So kind of to follow what Brian said, for me, there's things that I look for in a hotel, and it's preferred, productive, profitable, persistent. And I think that with what you and Brian and Calvin are doing so well is you're oftentimes with partnerships and oftentimes with strategies and alliances, you see a big name and you're like trying to put it into that hole. It doesn't really work out. They don't see your same vision, but the brand, and you're like, you get so excited about the logo, or you get so excited about the brand recognition. I feel what you guys have done so incredibly well is, hey, where does it fit? Like, let's look at the holdings. Let's look and see where it fits. Let's see how they can grow with us, how they can align. Sometimes we'll be really, really happy about the partnership in the first 12 to 18 months. Sometimes we'll have to wait for that partnership to be what we envisioned it to be in 2 or 3 years. I think the alignment of the partnership and using the alliance for productive, profitable, and really preferred. We don't want every client. We don't want every single person. We want the people that are going to explode the brand and the hotel because it meets what their needs are, and they're going to tell everybody. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
Yeah, thank you, Stephynie. I mean, and you know a lot about brands as well. I think everybody here does, but I mean, Stephynie, you worked with tremendous amount of brands to know what's a good brand and what's not. So I love that input from you all the time. Calvin?
Man, I could go on this for days, but I there's a couple of things that I love about this. First of all, I love being in partnership with somebody that has something they're passionate about. It's in their heart, and you believe them, and you want to be a part of it. And I love that part of it. I love iconic brands, and because iconic brands do something that makes them different, stand out, persevere. They make it through decades, and they're still here. This is one of those brands, and I enjoy being a part of that. And the second piece of it is, I think the culture that we're building is phenomenal. I think I told you this, Ken, when I was working for Homewood, we were a very small brand that could. I mean, we didn't have many hotels, and our competitor, our biggest giant, our Goliath, was Residence Inn, and we just, that was kind of our focus. How can we beat these guys? And so that culture that we built, the creativity that we had to have to do that, and trusting one another and building confidence in one another and throwing things at the wall, and everything didn't stick. But with the type of leadership, you're going to make some home runs, and I feel like with this brand, it's like that. I think the culture is fantastic. I just think the potential is fantastic, and the passion behind it and the people in it. And that just makes it all worthwhile, man. You only get one round in this life. And I think being involved in something like this, it just makes it worthwhile. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, Calvin. It's a pleasure to have you on board. I mean, obviously, you and I definitely spoke about Homewood for an extensive period of time. So, and that's what, you were the VP of marketing and branding there. So you knew what it took in a way to get the brand to another level. Katie?
Sorry. Also, I realized I'm like glowing right now. There's a lot of sun coming in from the windows.
We just thought you were that excited. We just thought you were just electrified.
Just lit up with
right now.
Yeah.
I look like Tinkerbell about to fly away. No, I think it's kind of what Calvin was saying, where you can really, I mean, even in the short time I've known you, Ken, you can see and feel the passion about this. And I think it really shows in the hotel. And what I think is so cool is that it's not just the first EV hotel, it's very experiential as well. And in terms of the board, where you have specifically picked each member, where you've made it just such a stacked board, and so many people with doing such incredible things within, hospitality, but also different industries. And then they can bring it to EV. And I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on board too. I mean, market scale EV. That's what we're just going to call it.
Put me on.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. I think the future is bright. I think as we talk about even California, I mean, that's just, we feel with the California piece, that piece has a lot of other major cities attached to it. So, we're going to see what the future holds here, but the future is very bright. I think this is one of the most exciting Christmases I'm going to look forward to. So, cool. I think Santa came early. I actually can now pretend I'm going to see Santa come down the chimney. But,
it's just Brian.
Oh,
Brian. It's just Brian.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
so we have Santa and we have Tinkerbell. Like, what else? We have Mickey. Like, where is this going?
Here we go.
You need a character.
Here we go.
I mean, I don't know who wants to be Donald and who wants to be Minnie. I don't know. But I'm actually gonna take it to the next one before we get into something here. So,
Nice.
So this was a piece I think, Brian, you sent me this, and we were chatting a little bit about it. I thought this is a phenomenal piece. A restaurant group out of Florida. The chain is Polo Tropical. They were boosting pay and benefits to resolve the labor issue. They're planning to raise up to 6% in prices. I think currently they're at 3%. I believe it is 3 or 4%, but they're going to raise 6% in prices, all the way up to 6% to fund the labor. And that's not something unique, that's what everybody's doing. But the piece that I saw, and few of the things, is their sales are higher with more staff, obviously a given, right? They have 169 hotels. And what they've done here is they've offered a sign-on bonus that a lot of people are doing, right? But the benefits is what I think was the main element of this, is they're offering childcare leave, company paid educational program, and affordable medical plans. I think that's the kicker. That is a kicker, and people should follow that. I've been talking, if people have been watching this show all the way from from March, I've been saying the issue with our labor, instead of us even having those unemployment benefits, we should have had child care benefits that would have equaled to those dollar amounts. I'm not saying it would have helped 100%, but you look at the case here, this clearly proves that this portion as a benefit is helping these people. I mean, I saw the sales numbers and I saw what's happening here. So, I mean, this is like tremendous. So I'll go to you, Stephynie, first. What did you think about this?
So I was most excited about this. So this aligns with every single value and every single talent strategy that I ever help companies formulate or develop. I love, and it's a little selfish because I just love seeing that the C-suite or the executive suite go, kind of take a step back. Perks and benefits, they're all standard across most companies. You get this many paid days off, you get this much PTO, you got here's your 2 benefits that you get to choose for medical, dental, vision, whatever it is. Companies don't realize when they actually go out and start asking their employees what they want and what they need, 90% of the time they cut their costs because somebody else has maybe medical benefits over here that's under their husbands or their wives. Maybe they don't need to use, 401k because they put their money in something else. Whatever it is, ask your people, talk to your people. So number one, talk to your people. What's important to them? What benefits are important to a single mom is going to be very different than what's important to a millennial. Every millennial, they're like, oh, I've heard that you can have unlimited days off. Where somebody who is maybe, a different generation wouldn't even consider that to be a great benefit. So I think talking to your people and really understanding who your talent is and what's important to them, number one. And then number two, the thing that struck me so amazing about this article, Ken, was that they did this without being asked. So nobody had to resign. Nobody had to threaten. Nobody had to say I'm quitting and then give their 2-week notice and then go back and forth with HR and all this other crappy chaos that we have to deal in. They just did it. They just put it out there and they're like, this is what we're going to do because you're valuable. We want to keep you. And here are some of the benefits that we're asking. So I always like operating forward, not from the back foot, and very proactively in what my people want. And that's why we've always had a 1% turnover rate, because our people are everything to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've said this, and I come from a background, if people don't know my background, I've been in this industry since 15. I had to help my dad where he was working 3 jobs and my mom was heavily diabetic. So, I mean, I was working in high school, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday. So we have to care about what the people's needs are, right? It's just not, we can't think it's just a paycheck to them. We have to build that culture. We have to do things the right way. And I get excited, but at the same time, I'm like, this group cares about its employees. You know, that is the bottom line. That tells me, forget these. When I hear these pizza parties, it just pisses me off. I'm like, don't throw a
Shirt Friday. Come on now.
Like, forget the pizza party. Who cares about the pizza party? You know what I mean?
What do you have against
I got
pizza?
my own pizza. Give me my fair wage.
What's your problem against pizza?
Because it's how these hotel companies and
They're masking a bigger issue.
it's just they're like, oh yeah, appreciation week. We're gonna give them a pizza party.
Yeah.
And I'm
Jeez, I was gonna send you a Chicago pizza. See if I do that.
Deep dish.
No
Oh, man.
pizza.
I mean,
Some
you know,
Giordano's and some
I'll send it to you,
Ginkgo.
Brian.
So,
I'll come
Brian,
down your chimney.
Come
just
down
so
my
that I'll-
chimney for the pizza. Yes.
well, maybe I'll leave. I'll get the Chicago deep dish. Okay.
Nice.
I'll get your favorite toppings. I'm gonna put it right under the chimney.
Perfect.
So when you slide down,
Yes.
You're gonna land on it.
it's all cheese, baby.
I like it. I like it.
So Brian,
Yeah, well, I did love this article. I sent it to you, so thanks for bringing it onto the show. But why is this not the norm? Like, why is this shocking? It's 2021. We're gonna get this article 10 years from now when another company decides to treat their employees right, pay them correctly, help offset some of their family personal time and costs, and cover that. You know, what always baffles my mind is that companies decide to get as much as they can from employees. Not all companies. So let me preface it. Companies decide to get certain companies decide to get all they can from employees, pay them as little as possible. Meanwhile, during that time, they're training them, they're introducing them to their coworkers, or if it's a B2C market, they're interacting with their consumer, they're representing the brand. And then when that employee decides that they're fed up, they feel mistreated, they don't feel appreciated, or they're in a toxic environment, they quit. Okay, it's okay. We'll just go and train and do the same thing with somebody else. That hamster wheel mentality, or that turnstile is it's old. It's over. Treat your employees like you would treat your mother, unless you don't like your mother. So anybody listening, don't do that. But treat them with respect. Cherish them, listen to them, and they'll be loyal and with you on this entire journey, and they're not going to want to leave. They can't be poached. Even if someone offers them more money, if they feel like they're really part of the brand, they will stay and they will continue this journey with you. So the fact that this article is like something of like new is crazy. It's not new. It's something that needs to be done forever. And you know, way to go, Polo Tropical. But every company should really start doing this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on that, Brian. I've said this I've been part of these companies. Trust me, the conversations, pulling teeth, try to get more benefits for employees, trying to get affordable medical plans, trying to get them any sort of things that's going to say, oh, you know what, you're valuable. You're valuable. You're an asset. None of that. So hopefully they've learned their lesson, because the employees that they were paying $10 an hour, now they have to pay $20 and $25 an hour. So I hope they learn their lesson, but if not, then we'll be back to square one. But you know, it's a lesson to be learned, that this is how we have to work with it. And this is not, as you say, it's not like they hit the lottery or they hired some guy and paid him $1 million to be their analyst to tell them this is how you're going to have to fix this problem. I mean, this is somebody that clearly just said, look, our employees are valuable. That's all was here. But Katie?
No, I mean, I absolutely agree. With everything that everyone said. Brian, I also don't think it should be breaking news that a company actually gave their employees proper benefits and made them feel part of the community, and then they stayed. I think that should be absolutely the norm. It's also much more expensive to hire another employee instead of just keeping the same employee and keeping them happy. So I do hope this becomes the norm, and I think without question it should be the norm already.
Beautiful. Thank you, Katie. Calvin?
What I think everybody made some great points on this because you can go in so many directions on this article. I loved it too. But and the biggest one I heard everybody listen to your employees. That's the big one. I always say retention is the best acquisition. Keep your people. You take care of the people that you have, and you won't have these issues. But even at a higher level, what I liked about this is that they're being more profitable. They're doing well. I think a lot of it is because of the experience that the guests are having, because they have staff to adequately serve them. And I mean, I think that story Stephynie shared about it takes you, if you get the document you asked for, all of that stuff, what that does, it hurts your brand, and they're probably not going to come back. And the restaurant situation, if you're sitting there, trust me, I've had so many instances where I'm sitting there 45 minutes, an hour, man.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm never coming back here. So you got to understand that if you got to pay the people, you'll have enough staff, you'll create a positive experience, and they will go out and tell their friends, relatives, and colleagues about the experience that they had. Because there's so many restaurants out here, so short staff, the experience is so bad, you could make a killing. Because it's just gone so far. Pay your people, treat them well, build up your staff, create a positive experience, and you'll be okay.
And Calvin, you know what else too is the distraction that it creates if you're looking for another job, or if you're feeling really down and somebody actually reaches out to you, just the distraction of interviewing and getting references and all the other thing, it's taking away from your own brand. But then second to that is people that announce layoffs. So they announce, there's been so many studies. I think they did one in 2018 where they announce layoffs and then don't do them for 2 months. Right. Where's your morale for your company? What are they doing? Everybody's freaking out about their family. They're not doing anything, and they're just wondering if they're next. Nobody goes, okay, we need to pull together. We need to all work together and, find it. Nobody does that. Everybody stops. So why paralyze your people? Like,
that's right. It's just crazy. You would think people would, because a lot of organizations say, hey, we're family, we care, but the actions are totally opposite.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You're family and you care unless there's money involved. If there's a payout involved, then you don't care that much.
That's it. Yep. Yeah. That's the real deal right there.
Well, yeah. I mean, one other point that a lot of national chains, even global chains, I think miss is localizing that talent. If people are paid right across all different industry in that local economy, they're all spending more money. Yes. So if they're making more, they're spending more. That means the mom and pop boutique store that made an extra few $100 that week, they may go to the restaurants, or they will go out and they will spend because they have more income in the bank that they can go out and do things with in that local economy. They can pay their rent, they can pay their utility, they can pay their car payment. But if everybody in that local economy is making more, in a perfect world, they're also spending more.
Right.
Locally. And
the ecosystem is awesome.
Not if a Boise, Idaho store number 425 is doing no business, so we don't care about them because the store in Los Angeles is doing 10 times more business. That's not how you look. You don't look at it like numbers. You got to break it down per what can this little town generate, and how can we support the people in that town, and how can we all make money and benefit and move goods and move services and move products.
Mm-hmm.
Legal disclaimer: we love Boise, Idaho.
No, I'm talking about in a corporate world. That's a store number.
Believe me, that is not why this show needs the legal disclaimer. Okay, let's be honest.
We love QT gas station
and bananas
and 7-Eleven.
Yes, 7-Eleven bananas.
And monkeys.
Katie's like, I'm so bummed out I missed that show.
Yeah.
I honestly am.
She's gonna go back and listen to that show.
Without question. First thing I'll do.
I think it's got the most views of our maybe not. I think it's got the second most views of any show. I mean, I think but it was an amazing show. Amazing. This one's gonna be even more amazing because you know what we got up next?
I already know.
Hopefully a crypto question.
We got crypto. We got crypto. So there's 5 hotels that are accepting crypto. These are actually, there's more hotels that are accepting crypto, obviously, but it's a crypto rage right now. It's a crypto craze. Pavilion Hotel and Resort is the first international hotel group to accept crypto. They've got 42 virtual currencies that they're accepting. Kessler is the first U.S. luxury hotel group that's accepting crypto with their partnership with BitPay. So my question is, they're all accepting crypto, but EV Hotel is doing more than crypto and accepting crypto. So I think they're obviously onto something. These are big groups that we're talking about. My issue with the article, and it's not really with the article, but it's like, where are all these hotels in the United States with accepting crypto? Where are they? Is that why we've got so much exposure, obviously, with the crypto community, to know that this hotel brand is really focused on the crypto? I mean, I'll obviously go to you, Brian. This is your world. So
so the article and a lot of these announcements is a little misleading. Not, I should say misleading. It's a little different than our strategy. Your payment processor, and there's a few of them that are fantastic, like ACI Worldwide, even PayPal has been accepting crypto and allowing crypto transfers for a long time. We talked about MasterCard and their payment network being able to reward people in crypto. So the hotel is able to accept crypto, or the ones that mentioned, because of their payment processor that already did all of the due diligence, KYC, all the necessary paperwork to accept crypto. So, but that doesn't give the community what they want. The crypto community wants a place where they can go and experience, like we talked about, NFTs, be able to be in that hotel environment and trade crypto, learn about it, learn about new digital assets, participate in that little environment. Companies like Nodal, which is going to be a great play inside of EV Hotel. Nodal is the world's largest wireless network. We're connecting billions of IoT devices a day or a month, and giving people the ability to download the Nodal Cash app, and anybody around the world can earn Nodal Cash cryptocurrency. So when you walk past an IoT device, and EV hotels are loaded with smart IoT devices, EV Smart, you're going to be able to earn money like a Pokemon Go experience while you're in the hotel. So you're not just putting out money, you're actually going to be able to earn cryptocurrency and learn about what else can you do with this thing? How can I trade this in this room and order a turkey sandwich? But did I even pay for that turkey sandwich because I'm connecting to all these devices? I got it for free, or I made money on top of ordering that food or beverage. So accepting crypto in that article, okay, but there's so much more that the community want and they crave, and we are going to provide it because we're on the ground. We know what they want, not just flipping on a switch so you can now buy something with your crypto. Big deal. That's not exciting for the community. That doesn't do anything for them.
Yeah, and I think I know you so well now, Brian, because I knew exactly that's what you were going to say, and that's why I set it up for exactly what I'm going to say now.
I don't even need to be here. You could just say it for me.
And I will tell you why that article is like, so much people are like excited in hospitality of like, oh, we're accepting crypto now. But that's how this industry has been. They're like, a digital key. Wow, it's a magic ball. You know what I mean? The digital key. So it's a lot more than that, right? Like if you're the crypto community, you're like, oh well, I bought with Dogecoin. I went to the Dallas Mavericks gift shop and I bought their merchandise. Oh, what? So what? You know what I mean? So I think you're right with that.
It may properly should be worded: the payment process is accepting crypto, and our hotels are using that process to convert it to a fiat currency. We're still taking cash.
Yeah.
So I think there's a disconnect in that article and what the reality is.
Yeah, I think we need to call them up after the show.
No, let's call him up on the show.
Yeah, that would be even better.
We need a news reporter. I think we need to call that lady, Brian. Brian. It's
real quick, we got Amy Williamson here.
Amy.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Amy.
What's up?
You must know Katie because she knows all Mahomes people.
Oh, you do.
Heavy in sports.
I do.
That's
Oh
awesome.
gosh.
How are you?
Hi,
Nice to
Amy.
meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. We'll get you on the show sometime.
Sounds good.
Well, not like you're already not on the show, but you're
You're on it right now.
See you later.
That impromptu visit, that was amazing.
That was nice.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a backdrop. That's a video right there.
Working
Celebrity
late,
guest.
midnight, burning the midnight hour, hard worker.
Oh wow, amazing. See, we thought Brian Esposito was out somewhere in the wilderness having fun, but he's
Amy
not.
was a prop.
Yeah. She wasn't real.
She's not real.
She's not real.
She was virtual.
That's how good Brian is. She was AI.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's so Stephynie.
So, since our last show about crypto, I had probably 20 or 30 DMs. And actually, you know what I was going to do? If I would have had more time, Ken, I would have actually scrubbed them and put up some questions around it. But here's what I realized. Here's what I didn't know, which made me feel a little bit better. There are a ton of people that are interested, that travel, that run large corporations, that are entrepreneurs and executives all over the world, that, you know, I don't want to talk about wealth, but like, you know, maybe are the people that are like investors, potential investors that don't know enough about crypto. So I was getting, hey, when's Brian doing a crypto class? Hey, how do you convert? And when I was responding back, because these guys are friends, you know, these are people I've known for a really long time. I responded back like LOL, and they're like, no, Steph, seriously, but we're not going to tell anybody we don't know about NFTs. We're not going to tell anybody we don't know about crypto.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell anybody we don't know. And I was stunned. I got 28 DMs with people that some of us are connected to and some of us aren't. Like, how do we know how to use the hotel? How do we understand? How do we book? And is it going to be a different booking experience? Are you guys going to have a tutorial or a Q&A? Or is this just for people who already are very familiar with crypto and, you know, blockchain and kind of everything else to go and use the hotel? Because what about all the people that want to be involved but don't know how? So that's what I got.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing is, I think I sent you a few videos.
I watched them all. I
Oh,
still
you
am
did?
super
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
Just saying. When
But-
Brian comes down my chimney, I'm going to make sure that he like has a whiteboard, a 6-pack, and a flow chart.
yeah.
And a deep dish pizza. Don't forget.
Yes.
Yes.
And a
Cheese.
And some
deep dish
bananas.
pizza.
And
Yeah,
some
it's-
bananas.
And some bananas.
I'm not gonna
Yes.
lie. I did a lot of research years ago on crypto. Years ago, I think people know the story of the $100 and change in Bitcoin, but you know, I did a lot of research. I had to really find out. I'm still doing research. I mean, I'm not an expert at all. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm a proven expert, but I think I know enough about crypto. You know, I'm not no Brian J Esposito with crypto, but you know, I
No
would
one
say.
is.
I would say it's going to be very easy for people that are concerned about the hotel brand. I got to say what we're doing within the hotel brand, I don't think it's going to be complex at all. You
Okay.
know, it's not going to be complex.
So there's an opportunity for education while they are
Yep.
going through this process.
So I'm glad you said that, because on the 3rd floor of the downtown Phoenix project, okay, there is half of that floor is going to be like an educational movie theater where it's going to let you know about how cryptos work, how NFTs work, how does all our technologies work. So they're going to be able to sit in there and kind of see the whole thing. And that's why I've created that portion of that hotel to be that way. So that's
And then
why
can you make it actionable from that, Ken? Can you like immediately go start right then?
What do you mean start from right
Just
there?
if somebody is uneducated,
Yes.
Go ahead, Brian.
Think of it. Remember when eBay opened up stores to help people list their items on sale? And
exactly.
that's
Oh,
exactly.
okay, gotcha.
Yes, and that's why having the digital asset floor, much like a Chicago Merc or a New York Stock Exchange, having a crypto physical floor inside of a facility, thankfully we have the opportunity to bring it inside of a hotel, changes the whole landscape from generational wealth that are intimidated by it. They don't understand it. But if they can see a trading floor with people creating a market, moving an asset from one person to another, they can connect it with bonds, they can connect it with stocks, they can connect it with equities or securities. That is what's missing. And I hope we're not the only ones to do this right, with legendary and seasoned professionals and traders and market makers that know how to create markets, know how to protect the asset, know how to trade the asset. That's what I've always felt has been missing to tap into the other 85% of the world that doesn't have a digital asset.
So I think that was the missing piece, is like, okay, I get it. I understand it. I buy into it. But how? Show me how.
Yeah, well, what is it? People are like, what is it? Is it real? I don't understand.
Right.
If you can see physically, it's an asset. It's a new asset.
And, you know, and they're like, well, then how do I buy in? And then how do I know buying in is the right way to buy in? And I think it was just a lot of, are you guys going to walk us through from an educational standpoint? You know, like whenever you go, you guys know this, whenever you go to a hotel before you arrive, they send you kind of like, hey, here's all the things that are going on in the city, or hey, here's all the things that are happening, or, you know, reach out to concierge. You guys have booked this suite or this, whatever. Is there anything that we can do for you? The component of the service aspect of crypto within the hotel, within the brand, within the people is really important.
Yeah. And, you know, the plan with the brand too is what we're going to call, you know, there's going to be sets of employees that are going to be crypto leaders.
Yes.
You know, so that's where this has to be really educationally driven. You know,
Absolutely.
It really has to be educationally driven, because we can't expect people to just kind of learn this as they go. You know, it's got to be really educational stuff. We're going to get Brian. We're going to just put him in that third floor.
Yeah. Never let him out. Never. Make sure he has like a cute little hat and like with a little strap thing right here.
Oh, legal disclaimer. Legal disclaimer. Katie?
We always say here at Market Scale that education is the highest form of marketing. So I think it's so great that you guys are making it so educational.
Done deal. You guys are coming to that third floor. Perfect.
Yes. As well as experiential. I think it's what you were saying, where people, when they're really seeing it and doing it and becoming a part of it, there's such a better understanding. And I'm just so excited. I don't know why. It's exactly what the question was, but I really don't know why more people are doing this. And also, sorry, you can't really see me. I feel like I'm actually a hologram at this point. But
we can see you fine. You're fine. You're good.
Oh my God.
You know, awesome. Thank you, Katie. Kevin?
I think we talked about this the last show about the education aspect.
We talk about it every show.
We talk about it. Yeah, because that's just critical there. But to answer your question, I think you mentioned why weren't there other brands in that article, U.S. brands, except in crypto. And I think what we're talking about now is the reason. They don't understand it. The brands and when you don't understand, you know, brands that's large like that, in a lot of cases, they're very risk averse. And they're not going to just jump out into something, because they're going to wait. They're going to wait and see what happens. And but sometimes you can wait. You think long, you think wrong. That's what Dad used to tell me. Sometimes you know you'll be way behind. But I just think that that part of it is without that educational piece. It's going to take them some time to get there, and they probably now are getting people together to learn it and understand it and all of that. But I know that we're going to be focusing on that as well. But without the education, it's going to be a hard climb. We got to have that piece, and we will.
That's why I was saying to you at the very beginning of all this, when we were talking about Brian, that was one of the biggest, you know, living through the .com and the .bomb in Silicon Valley. You know, there were so many things really, truly that were amazing. Like we all remember web services. Okay. Yeah. But it was too early. It was just way, way too early. And there was no adoptability, and all those companies just crashed because people go, gosh, this is really, really great. But the educational standpoint, that wasn't necessarily there. They could look at it theoretically and go, this is awesome, but how does that apply to me?
Yes.
And I think that was one of the biggest factors with Brian, is I was like, oh, this will be something. His brain just works like that. what starts now, what's kind of medium, to the way in, and then like what is the future, and bringing all those different brands and partnerships in whenever it aligns for you, Ken, and for the brand for EV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I mean, should we tell Brian what we said about him that day?
He's so used to it. I said about him like 14 times a day to the 80 people. Like there's nothing.
Yeah.
Zero.
See, we'll get all.
I got some moxie, so lay it on.
There you go. That's what's
Yeah, I'm not so much concerned about that, Ken. I'm concerned about what Brian said about you that doesn't come out.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but we'll get all the early adopters.
I'm sure it was the nicest things possible. It was the nicest things, and nothing but nice things. So I'm not
amazing.
Worried.
That's right.
It's amazing.
No, I think to even tell you guys this, I think the brands will never catch up, because of the fact is they've got people all the way up here, and that's above the CEOs and the chairmen.
Oh, the Illuminati. We're going to go into that.
Yeah.
But let's not disclaimer on that.
So I think, I truly believe that crypto's here to stay. I mean, crypto.com just paid $700 million just to put their name on an arena.
Staples Center.
Yeah. Staples Center is now crypto.com.
Who the hell would have ever thought that the Staples Center will change its name and it would be crypto.com? So
amazing.
Things happen.
What's that?
Things happen. I think there was an Enron stadium at some point, and things happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Okay, we're gonna move to the next one. we threw an Enron in there.
Things change.
And Enron, such a great company, phenomenal company.
No, not really.
Oh, I can go.
But so
sorry,
I mean the crypto's not.
Sorry.
Well, the crypto's here to stay forever. It's not going anywhere. I think the lesson is to be learned. If you don't know crypto, you need to go on YouTube and start Googling. Actually, not Googling, but go ahead into search of YouTube and put beginners for crypto and start watching the videos on your free time, not while you're watching Hospitality 360 Live.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
right after.
But no, I want to take to the next piece, guys. Okay, so I've said this since probably, I think it was end of February, I believe it was, when Kayak bought. Actually, I don't know if they bought. I don't want to say bought, but they went into a partnership. I thought they bought. I don't know the clarity on that, but they bought that property with Lifehouse Hospitality, whether it was a partnership or not. Lifehouse Hospitality is really focused in the independent space. They're very big on the technology side. They're doing great things. And Kayak, I said at that portion that what Kayak now is doing is figuring out a development piece. The development piece is with technology and a portfolio. And, just most recently, a good friend of mine, Pranav Bhakta, out of California, joined Lifehouse as his company became an investor into Lifehouse Hospitality. And, I told him, I said, I know there's more coming. Why don't you just give me the dish and stop giving me the vegetables, And he's like, yeah, there's more coming. I said, and he's like, soon it will be announced. And here we are. It's announced. So Kayak, I mean, they just opened now 2 resorts in Mexico. They're calling it the Kayak Luna and the Kayak Sol. And this is something big to what I even visioned to be even bigger, is they're kind of taking that database. I've said this for a long time. These OTAs have a database. They've got a loyalty program and a CRM that takes years to build. Takes a lot of members to build. They've got those members. And I will keep saying this mostly on every other show, that Expedia is next. Expedia is going to pull the same thing here. So we need to prep that you are going to end up losing a tremendous amount of consumers unless you deliver technology, unless you deliver a centric experience, because these guys are going to deliver both of that. They are going to deliver both items. When Kayak did the Miami project, they said they had a software that was in development. They're starting to develop that software. And that was more on the centric experience for the guest. And that's what they're doing at this resort, both of these resorts in Mexico. So I'll go to you, Brian, on this one. I know you're a Trivago fan, maybe not a Kayak fan, but I know you maybe got some input here.
Great CEO at Trivago. So I love assets. I love putting assets on the balance sheet. I think it's a great move. You also have tax reasons for depreciating those assets. But there's something to say with these companies that have massive valuations. You talk about Airbnb, and they say it's the largest hotel or largest place to stay without owning a single home or a single unit. Uber is the biggest taxi company, doesn't own any cars. So if you start to apply that into this space, you had Expedia, Trivago, Kayak, Hotels Tonight, or Hotels.com, making all of their revenue without the burden of carrying the cost of a facility. The important thing is the operator, right? That's the most important piece of this. Just because they have the data and they have money and they can spend, if you don't have an operator to be able to manage that property and ensure that the guests enjoy the stay, I don't think people are going to choose an Expedia hotel if that's the brand on it because they like using Expedia.com. But if you have Kayak and their partnership with Lighthouse and it's a brand, and the Kayak engine can make more money because they're not taking not all of the revenues, but a majority of the revenues from the hotel that they're delivering people to. I love the model. But again, need a good operator, need a good experience. And just because they have access to the consumer and the data doesn't mean it's going to generate long-term beneficial results for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great point, Brian. I agree with you on that. Look, nothing against Lifehouse Hospitality. I think the guys over there are great. I know the CEO, good guy. But the partnership doesn't align to me. You know what I mean? Partnership really doesn't align. I've seen Lifehouse's properties, what they've managed, what they've done, and it just doesn't align, because when I look at what Kayak is and who they are, the alignment just isn't there for me. So I don't know how it's going to play out, whether it's just maybe a 4 or 5 property deal that they might be doing, or are they doing more? I don't know the answer. But
well, Ken, you know how much these booking engines take from the hotels.
Oh yeah. 15, 20%.
Yeah. That makes you profitable or not, depending on how you run your hotel. And so it's
absolutely. I know, the lowest brand that gets the deal is Marriott at 11.7%. Sorry, Marriott, just gave your number away, but that's the lowest percent of anybody. Nobody gets lower than that. Nobody. And 12%, that's occupancy tax. So you add the occupancy tax on top of that. You know what I mean? So, it hurts some numbers for sure. Stephynie?
Ken, to your point, I just don't know why. I think for me, that's the whole, what's the intention of the partnership? I don't understand it. I don't know. And again, I get nervous over things when they're like, well, let's see how it plays out. Is it 4? Is it 40? I get nervous about that. Like, why aren't you screaming that from the rooftop? Why aren't you being so intentional about your partnership that we are 1,000% in bed with this company and this is the reason why? Like, put people behind your brand. have them understand why you're doing something. Because when people are invested and they're engaged and they are aligned with it, they're aligned with the partnership or the alliance, they tend to talk about it a lot. They tend to be excited about it. And this was just confusing for me. I just don't understand it. I don't know how many, I don't know why, what was the intention around it. It was annoying.
Whoa.
I need you to tell us how you really think, Stephynie. I don't want you to hold back anything.
Yeah. I you know,
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I have to really I have to think about what I'm going to say here, just because I know the guys behind Lifehouse, and I know, obviously Pranav Bhakta might have some sort of involvement with EV Hotel down the road or something of that sort, and I don't want to say anything that's going to hurt EV Hotel in any way, but
if you think it might, don't say it.
I would tell you. I would.
Well, and Ken, just to clarify, I wasn't trying to degrade the brand at all. I was just saying, I just don't understand it. I don't know the intention of the partnership or what the alliance was all about. I don't understand who, how many, why, what are they each getting like that. It wasn't so much that, oh, this is awful. It was just like, I wish I knew more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you're perfectly right about that, because I would tell you that those are the questions I asked in a meeting, is because when I saw somebody I know investing into a company such as Lifehouse, I want to know the play, because I don't want that ever to come back to us in any way. So, and I still don't know the play. I will tell you that honestly, I don't know the play. And I look at Lifehouse as it's just a company that's kind of opened up properties here and there in South Beach. They've got some properties. They've got some properties somewhere else. I know they've got a property in New York, and they were looking at what we were doing. This is before this is when I created the software back in February of this year. So that's on EV Human, and they were looking at exactly how I did the all-in-one and all of this stuff. So I kind of know they're very technology driven, but I don't know the exact play there. I don't get it, just like you, Stephynie. I don't get it. I still don't understand it as to what is there. What is the value, right?
Well, I feel like, again, I go back to what's the intention? Like, is it growth? Is it market share? I mean, how are the audiences aligned? Like, I just have so many questions. Like, when I read it, I was just like, wait, what? And I read it again, which didn't make anything better or easier. So I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, if someone has that answer, we're looking for it. So if
guys,
anyone has that answer.
They have lockdown rules here, so I have to jet and head back to my hotel. So I do have to take off. I'm sorry, Ken. Sorry.
No. Thank you, Brian.
Bye, Brian.
Bye, everybody. Stay well.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
See you later, man.
Oh, we lost Brian.
See, now Katie's not glowing as much. This worked out.
I'm gonna be sunburned by the end of this.
All of a sudden, we see Katie going like this, like applying like sunscreen.
Yeah, I'm like putting on suntan. So, I keep trying to do different angles to make it better, but then I just peer over. So I think
you look amazing. Don't worry about it.
Oh no, you're good. You're fine. I look like that at every show, so I'm good.
But just the glow, the natural glow.
Yeah, the natural glow. It just comes off, They tell me I should never go tanning. So, they're like, I was naturally born tanned.
Maybe he's just born with it.
Yeah. I was going to say that, but then I was like, he's not going to know what that means.
You got it. There we go.
I was like, I know what you're saying. He won't.
So,
oh gosh.
Katie, what are your thoughts? Obviously, we went into this. Stephynie and I have these great conversations. So one of those moments.
Totally. I mean, it's kind of it's what you've all said again. But I don't necessarily understand the alignment or just how that, I don't want to say they're mismatched by any means, but just like how it even makes sense for both. I mean, it's great, but I don't really understand the need overall. But excited. Congrats to them for doing it. You know?
Yeah,
It'll be great.
absolutely.
Katie's like, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I just think that
We should ask
whatever.
them.
I really want to go stay at the hotel. That's what I said about Mint House, so I did make the reservation there. Hopefully they're not listening, but it's okay. I'm actually gonna go.
I always
stay.
I need a disclaimer for this. I'm going to disclaim before I even say it. I always get so disappointed when I do that. Like I get so bummed. Like I'm so excited. Like I remember the Soho Grand when it first opened, and I was like, I waited so long. I was like, because I was like a Hudson, and then I stayed at the Soho Grand, and I was like,
This is it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the worst.
it was such a bummer. And then, I mean, it eventually, 4 or 5 years, it got a lot better. And then they opened the Tribeca Grand, which I think that all the errors that they made with Soho, they didn't make it with Tribeca, and that was great. But I feel like every time that I get really, like my hopes up, I just go and I'm like, really? This long?
Yeah.
For this?
I think you would get that feeling with this hotel.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. I could just tell it. I mean, I could just see it. You know what I mean?
I don't think I'm going to stay at any more hotels until till EV opens in Phoenix. I'm done.
You'll never be disappointed. 3.
There you go. That's it. There you go.
I'm going to
That was like a
Texas.
weird one. Look at you.
Right. I'm going to Texas and live with Katie and tan with her. That's what I'm doing.
The 3.
They're like, what show am I watching? What
Right?
is this?
Bananas, monkeys, like QT,
Monkeys.
like dropping
You had
E's.
11 bananas.
Is this a hospitality show or is this what is this?
Gosh.
Calvin?
I really don't have much to add. I just didn't get it either. I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. So,
I think what's gonna happen here is we're gonna get more and more news about this. I feel like there's a third partner coming into this. I just feel that's my senses on it. But
What kind of a partner?
I think it's gonna be more of a strategic, probably management partner.
Interesting.
That's where I think they're gonna draw somebody in from that territory and more of an international partner.
Interesting.
That I don't know. I just kind of feel that's what's going to happen there. There's no way Lifehouse can handle a full service resort, all inclusive. I'm like,
well, then here's my question for that. So then here's my question. We all live in different parts of the country. We all travel a lot. And if all 5 of us didn't get it, who's their audience?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So true.
Like that's kind of like when I start thinking about like when I'm think about my job and I think about consulting and business, I'm like, okay, well, is your audience aligned? And Ken, we've talked about this a million times. Katie, Calvin, Ken and I talk about this all the time. I'll go in and I'll meet with the C-suite and the president or the CEO go, we are all aligned. And I'm like, great. And then they leave and I have individual meetings. It's like they're working for different companies. Like,
you're like,
where was that alignment at?
Yeah.
So I just often wonder about that. Like if we all individually didn't get it, who may their audience be?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the same thing, Stephynie, too. And this is kind of everybody is that when I see these brands doing all inclusive resorts, I have these conversations nightly with my friends that are not in the hospitality industry and they're in the financial sector. They tell me what the hell is going on. And I'm like, I have no idea. They're like, are they going to be as cheap as their breakfast at the all-inclusive resort?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So Ken, have you stayed in an all-inclusive resort?
Oh yeah, plenty of times. Yeah.
Have you, Katie?
Oh, absolutely.
And Calvin, have you?
Yes. Of
So
course.
I've never stayed in an all-inclusive resort.
Oh really?
Never.
Oh,
You gotta
it's a time.
You got to experience it.
Yeah.
Really?
For sure.
I like the entertainment. I don't.
Yeah.
And it's
I
all
don't know,
inclusive?
I like the entertainment. I mean, I love the food.
Really? Okay.
The breakfast is the best part because you've got so many dishes. I mean, it's just.
There's
it's
just no
phenomenal.
worries. That's the biggest thing. It's like,
Yeah.
no matter what, you're like, I know it's taken care of. Like, you don't have to ever think about like, oh, last night's dinner was expensive or anything. Like, no matter what, if you're on
Interesting.
vacation. Yes. So it's like, it's
I'm
paid
always
before-
thinking about drinks. Like I'm always like, what if the drinks aren't like what if it, I'm not going to say any of the
Oh.
brands because Ken will kick me, but like, what if it's Like,
if you don't love like the brands or the certain types of
well,
drinks.
like what if it's like, so for example, like vodka, I drink Tito's, and I know that and I don't know anything about alcohol
Yeah.
at all. So like what if there's another, like a lower one, or what if there's like two lowers, and that's the drinks that are included? I never know how it works out. Like, I'm just like, how does that
Well,
work?
I'll tell you, so I don't drink, right? But I will tell you this. I mean, I stopped drinking when I was really started working out a few years ago. And there's a resort, all inclusive. I love the Rio brands. I'll tell you, if you go
Oh,
to
interesting.
yeah,
You're
the
supposed to go to
Rio,
Cabo in December and stay at Rio.
yeah, you'll love it. So the
I've
Rio
only done all
Palace
inclusive in
Peninsula.
Cabo.
Oh,
Really? Where in
Yeah.
Cabo?
Oh gosh. Oh, it was like it was the Rosa Blanco.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think I said it right, but it was great. I mean, that's the thing, is it'd be like a college spring break, all inclusive, hands down, or something like that. Definitely recommend for like a girls trip, or
Yeah.
one of those things. You just don't want to worry about it.
Right.
yeah, I mean, just to even tell you guys, just a heads up before we go into the next one real quick to wrap it up, is the Rio Palace Peninsula in Cancun, one of the best properties to go to for all inclusive. And especially if you drink, because in the rooms, they have 2 huge dispensers of liter bottles of tequila. And
I don't know that that's
they-
safe.
And it's like, it's like those shampoo and conditioner
Yeah.
dispensers,
Yeah.
but you dispense it from the bottom.
Oh
and,
gosh.
and if the bottles and the housekeeper comes in the next day, and if you had only like 2 sips, or it looks like it's a little gone, then they put a new bottle in.
Oh my God.
Wow. Yeah.
So if
You're
you
taken care of.
love to drink tequila, that is the place for you to go to. But the restaurants are beautiful. The pool
Awesome.
is
That's good to
beautiful.
know.
And the property's new. The Rio brand, they're out of Barcelona. Good friends of mine too. I mean, they do a phenomenal job throughout the Caribbean. So if
Great
you
to know.
look at an all-inclusive resort, that's where you want to go. So we'll go from the luxury of hotels to the luxury of being on a private jet owned
yes.
by a hotel group. This was something like, people are like, oh, this is going to be expensive. But then if you look at it, so 5 is the hotel group's name. They're going to be the launch customer of this private jet. They're going to shuttle their guests from property to property in a private jet. The service begins in 2023, 16 seats, 2 properties they have currently, and they got 2 more opening up. The CEO might be the first airline and hotel CEO. Okay.
Wow.
Now, my thing in the article, and this is going to be a little bit funny. Okay. I'm going to be trying a little bit funny here. Is what is a nonstop high-speed internet? I didn't get that. What is nonstop high-speed internet? Because they said the airline or the jet provides nonstop high-speed internet. I'm like, I thought, internet's internet. I didn't know it had a nonstop on it.
Oh.
Well,
So here's my take on that. I go back and forth to Europe a lot, and my internet always cuts out. And they'll say it. They'll say, oh, we're going over the Atlantic. They'll say, we won't have internet for this long. Even now, like, I actually just had this conversation with the CEO for an airline, and there's all of the, and I don't know any of the technology, but there's all of these like what do you call them?
routers.
But they're not routers. They're something else. But yes, that's the concept. And they
access points.
Yes, exactly. And they're all over the airplane, and then they pick up on the satellites, and et cetera, et cetera. They haven't been able, I don't know anybody, an executive that flies often, business class, first class, that has internet the entire way through.
I know, and that's kind of what I'm wondering here, is that how these guys are able to pull these off. But
Right. So I'm down for the nonstop high-speed
maybe
internet.
There you
He
go.
picked up the hack. He knew it was an issue.
I've said it.
Right. I
Look,
love it.
Dubai is in a world of its own. I lived there for 4 years, went to school there for 4 years, and I knew if anybody comes out with anything that we've never seen, it's Dubai.
Hands
And these
down.
guys are Dubai. I mean, they just started. They only got 2 properties. They're going to launch 2 more. The CEO's got its own jet. He's obviously his own jet, and now he's bringing a jet into the hotel group. I think it's a phenomenal idea. It's like, look, if you want a weekend getaway and you don't have to worry about airfare, and you want to go to one country where they have a hotel, and then you want to come back to the country, another country where they have a hotel, and you don't have to worry, and you leave it off the pad of the hotel or wherever you're leaving from. I mean, it's a phenomenal idea. I mean, if you guys seen the inside of that airplane, I'm like, damn.
Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah.
The full dining room table.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
It's incredible. I mean, I'm going to give it a shot. I definitely am going to give it a shot. But, you know, when I go out to Dubai and figure out when that will be, but, you know, I mean, it sounds like an amazing idea. Do I see it coming here? No, probably a big hell no. You know,
You should think there should have been a comma when you asked that question, like a pause.
Yeah.
You just said, no.
No, I mean, there's
That was
no,
one fluency.
we can't get a digital key right. I mean, do we expect to shuttle people? You know what I mean? In airplanes?
Yeah.
It's I don't think, but I think this is a phenomenal idea. I don't know, Calvin, what
I think it's great. Well, it's probably outside of my tax bracket that people go. But
Calvin, Ken's doing it for us.
Yeah,
It's
Ken,
called-
you get the dining room table. You
Hello.
better fill us.
I got you guys. I think after India and Dominican is over, I got everybody to Dubai.
that's
You
cool.
get it.
But no,
I like
but all jokes aside, I think it's a phenomenal idea. I think it's a great. Again, we want experiences, man, and that's how you create memorable experiences. You got to do something nobody else is doing, and that, just like EV,
Yeah.
that is it. You know, but I just think it's not very nice, and that plane looked phenomenal.
I
like,
Y'all are crazy, you know that.
I'm in on it.
I would tell you, look, the thought process is great here because, you know, airline tickets aren't cheap. So whether you're going from that city to that city, you got to find a hotel room. You got to find an airline ticket. They're handling both of it for you. You know, so, I mean, how more expensive really can it be? I don't know the price.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
What more expensive really can it be? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If they're having the same people, and my thought is like, look, if 23 of the same people are leaving from that hotel to the next hotel, it can't be that expensive because they're having the same 23 travelers from one destination to the next destination. I think they're going to be focused of people spending the money at the hotel rather than the airline itself and the plane ticket. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that the hotel accommodations are going to be a lot more than the airline ticket itself. So, but Stephynie?
I think I'm really devastated that Brian's not on. So I think we should just put this in his lap and tell him we've decided he needs to structure the partnership before the launch of Phoenix. I think that he needs to make sure that that's handled, that we've all voted, and that's his next job.
Yeah, call these people.
Yeah, call him and just partner. Like, I mean, we could get a logo design on the side of their airplane, EV, you know, powered by EV.
Totally.
I think that that's just a great.
You kind of read my mind because when I got this article, I quickly went on LinkedIn and I
click.
Connect. You know.
Yeah,
I said,
and actually,
interesting. Oh, great, we're halfway there.
Exactly. And you know what's actually really interesting about that is we were connected to a lot of the same people. So I think, you know, Ken, like we've always talked about, I think it's just thoughtful conversations, asking really good questions, figuring out, you know, everybody is lacking something. Every single brand, every single company, every single executive, they're lacking something. It's just being humble enough to actually say, gosh, I could really use help. It's not that you can use help. It's just getting there faster, getting there with the already built foundation. You know, we always say build, buy, partner. Do you build something yourself and start from the ground up? Do you partner or do you buy it? You know, what are you doing? I think if we actually silo that and go build by partner, and then who are our brands in those areas, I think we can really just flourish into what we're going to align with and who we're going to align with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would love to chat with these guys. I mean, I think it will happen. They added me back, so that's a good sign.
Yes.
So, Katie,
Road trip.
road trip.
I think it was what you were saying before too. I mean, when I was reading the article, he was like, it's $2,000 per person. He's like, most of these people spend that on champagne for like
Right.
dinners every night. So I was like, honestly, for the certain clientele they're going after, fairly affordable. I think it's great, and I think it needs to be with EV Hotel, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. We got Katie on board.
Katie's in the crew.
She just picked that up too. Like, she's
I'm
like,
stoked on it.
Katie's in it, man. She's in the mix.
That's it right there. So
There for
that
you.
ends the show, guys. What a great show this was. Phenomenal show. Thank you everyone for being here. We had a great audience today too.
So fun.
Some new people that I've never seen before. So we love our new people. We love our old people. We love our middle-aged people. We love our young people. We love all the people, So
have you
people.
interviewed a compliance attorney yet? I think we need to get on that next hire.
I had a meeting after the last show, so
Yes.
I've been good. I've been good this show. I've been really good. So
Been better.
it's
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
so
I had so much fun. Thank you guys for having me. This was great.
oh yeah, Katie, thank you
Katie,
for
it
being
was so
here.
fun.
Being here.
So much
Stephynie.
fun. I can't wait to work with you guys further.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Likewise.
just want to thank our sponsors, Surf Request and CCC with contractors, closers, and connections. Chris Meyer, one of our board members, and then Surf Request is Catherine Koenig and Brandy Patterson's our other board members. So thank you guys for obviously sponsoring every episode of Hospitality 360. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Special time, Wednesday, 12 p.m. We're going to have a special show to get ready for surprises. We're going to have big surprises on that show. So we can't wait. Thanksgiving special. Thank you, Katie Steinberg. Thank you, Stephynie Malik. And obviously, our president, Calvin Stovall. Thank you.
Very welcome.
EV.
See y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you guys.